Yo.
Is it?
It my squeeze.
We're back.
Welcome.
Another day. More movies have been watched.
Yes, more films on my screens.
We're going to talk about them.
How you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like talking about some movies.
I feel like talking about movies as well. Before we get started, though, rest in peace, James Earl Jones, man.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yes. Now, last week, we both recommended movies to one another.
Mm-hmm.
What were those movies?
So, I actually want to talk about the movie you recommended first.
Sweet.
You recommended The Bone Collector,
Yes.
and I recommended to you.
Down by Law, 1986.
I don't know what year The Bone Collector was. I think maybe 99.
Probably
I
99.
think it was 99.
2000, maybe.
Okay. So, yeah. We're going to talk about The Bone Collector first. That's the one that I watched. And it's kind of funny. Just before we recorded this, I was like, hey, do you want to watch the trailer for it? And you were like, yeah, a little refresher. And at the end of the trailer, you were kind of like, oh, I should have recommended you Seven.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's actually really funny because the whole time I was watching this movie, I'm like, this has a very Seven feel to it. And when I finished watching it, I looked on IMDb, and one of the first things was like the director kind of didn't feel like it was his best work because the studio wanted a Seven type movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I
like
didn't know that.
that's basically what he was told to give them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I thought that was funny that even from the trailer you were like, oh, this is kind of Seven-esque.
Yeah, Seven popped into my mind. Yeah.
But the exact quote was kind of, it was kind of like you could tell the director knew that it wasn't as good. You know what I mean?
As he wanted to make it.
It would never be as good as Seven.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it definitely isn't like, I mean, for me, I thought it was kind of like it was kind of mid. Yeah. The whole time I was just like, this is so weird. And like, it really, what I will give it is like, it did not go in the direction I thought it was going to go. I kind of was thinking, what other thing it kept giving me thoughts of, but it didn't go in that direction was, what's it called? Unbreakable.
Right. Okay.
And I was kind of thinking that like Denzel and Queen Latifah were going to be behind the murder somehow so that he could like fix himself or something. I don't know.
You would have preferred that ending.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like
yeah.
the way that,
Take a swing.
the way that it kind of ended with just like some guy that he put in jail kind of coming out, I guess his doctor. It was all, it felt a little bit like rushed and like, and I really didn't like Angelina Jolie. Like, I'm not too sure like how I feel about her as an actress in general, but in this, I was just like, the whole time I'm like, so she's supposed to be like this weirdly attractive cop, and then they just like kind of throw in like, oh, you were a model when you were younger, and she's just like, yeah. Like,
I never noticed that.
yeah, it was like just, it had a bunch of like weird scenes that you were just
Were they like sexual?
What?
They were kind
Or
of
even just like the whole relationship between her and
Denzel.
I was just like, what's the point of this? I don't know.
It was like teeter-tottering on like fucking
It was not my favorite movie.
flattery and flirtery
of that genre. What else did I have? I have some notes here. I thought that was interesting that Al Pacino, Harrison Ford, and Sean Connery were all considered for the lead.
Sean Connery. Wow, that would have been interesting with Sean Connery.
Yeah, I mean,
Bone collector. Bone collector.
Yeah, I think I kind of hit everything. I actually did see like one interview with Denzel where he's kind of talking about this movie and how
His ass was hurt at the end of the day.
no, he was basically saying like how the director kind of had to like shoot it in a way to kind of keep it interesting, like because he's basically bound to a bed for the whole movie, and I was kind of like, I kind of thought that was like, that's kind of weird that he would think like that. You know what I mean? Like
Keep people's brains
yeah,
entertained.
like that you need to like do something
Different
dynamically,
shots.
or I could tell that like this director has like a weird style. Like
Okay.
a lot of the shots, I was just like, man, that's a weird way to shoot it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I would be interested to see another movie of his. But overall, I don't think this is a. You gotta see it right now.
It's something that I think if you were watching Sunday afternoon television like back in the day,
Sure.
and this came on the WB,
Yeah, it would be like, okay.
I bet.
This is
Or if this
chill.
was on like the ABC Sunday night
Yeah.
movie lineup, this is something that I would personally enjoy. But I do see what you mean by the ending, because the twist was not. Was it satisfying, you think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit hypercritical too, because like this isn't my favorite type of movie to
Right.
begin with.
It's
but,
okay to be hypercritical, though.
but I mean the twist I guess was that like the doctor was like secretly trying to get close to him to, you know, like take him out.
Right. Right.
But even like from the beginning, it's like he wanted to be taken out, and then it's like when he meets
Angelina Jolie.
Amelia, I think her name was in the movie, he's like, she's my reason to live. I just found it all like, oh my gosh, like
I gotta recommend. I gotta
no.
recommend you better movies. I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
I just remember the tense moments when she was underground and running into all that, like the scenery, you know. The bones, food. The bones from the Bone Collector.
Also too, like
It's creepy,
the
man.
stuff with like the killer, like the honestly maybe the the best thing in my opinion was probably like just like the creepy cab stuff, like when they first kind of abduct the couple and they're like trying to get out, and that was probably like my favorite thing. And then it was all like from there it was just like no. Oh, and I like Luis Guzman, he's always cool.
Right.
Yeah.
He's always cool. All right. I gotta recommend
But-
you a better movie.
Overall, I'm gonna give it my baseline score for a good movie is 6. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 or 65
Wow.
out of 100.
I wasn't expecting that. I think the movie is perfectly serviceable, like I said, if it just came across your radar. Now, if you got to seek it out, no. But if you are like a Denzel completionist,
Sure.
I think this belongs in there.
Yeah.
It's a weird role.
It was kind of weird,
He's sitting in a damn hospital bed the whole time.
but you have anything else to say about The Bone Collector?
This is a movie that I had on VHS as a child growing up. Me and my mother would watch it sometimes on the weekend, so that's why I recommended it primarily. I remember it was spooky. When Angelina Jolie, Amelia, goes underground in the sewer and she finds all the people tied up or whatever. It was
Like the
kind of
one
creepy.
scene where he's like trying to get her to cut off the hands.
Yeah.
Like even that, like I'm like, he's got to be up to some nefarious stuff if he's trying to get her to like, you know what I mean? Like cut off the hands of some victim and like totally,
That would have been a great ending.
I don't know.
That you know what? Because that's more creative and that's more left field. Like, no, Denzel is actually
Yeah.
collecting the bones.
Yeah.
And a nefarious network with Queen Latifah.
But anyways, and like the
Did you
way
like
she would
Queen
like
Latifah?
the way she would kind of like listen in on the conversations, like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like she was kind of up to I don't know.
Did you like Queen Latifah in the role? What do you feel about her as an actress? Because I think she's
I
a
did, but-
great actress.
I thought she was fine. I just felt like
Serviceable.
it was like it didn't have to be her. It like it could have been any her role could have been
Jada Pinkett
anybody.
Smith,
It could have been any
Gwyneth
no
Paltrow,
name.
anybody.
You know what I mean?
I see
Like
what you mean.
she wasn't essential.
Didn't she
to
have like
the-
an action scene at the end type of deal? I thought she did something actiony slapped him at least.
There's kind of like an action scene. Oh no, and I think Angelina shoots like. There's a scene where like the bad guy tries to finally kill Denzel, and he like clamps his hand in the bed, and even that scene, I'm just like, it's as like a main like, oh, this is like the main action. Anyways, we've said enough.
Mid on my screens. Hit it again, because we got some. So what'd you recommend me, man?
I recommended you Down by Law.
Now, why did you recommend this film to me?
So, I recommended this one. Well, I recommend you Ghost Dog.
Right, another Jim Jarmusch joint.
Recently, I was like, you have to see Ghost Dog. You have to see Ghost Dog.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I kind of had the feeling that you would enjoy it. It's a really cool movie.
Very.
And, and I felt like we could talk about that one a little bit, maybe give that one its own specific episode, maybe further down the road. But
yeah, I'm down with that.
But there's a lot of Jim Jarmusch movies I haven't seen, but this was one that I had seen kind of recently and really enjoyed. So I was like, I think you might enjoy it. And it's another simple movie that's kind of like, not too many elements.
I call them little stories.
You know what I mean? You're going to have to coin that term, little stories. But yeah, I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. We're going to talk about it right now, and spoilers. So, I mean, pretty much all our episodes, I think we're going to discuss things.
Yeah, in depth if we
with
can.
Spoilers. So, watch them before you listen.
So, this is, you recommended me this film, and I watched it yesterday. And first of all, I love a black and white film.
I'm glad you like that.
I love a black and white film. There's a reason why I'm so deep in classic Hollywood right now. It's because pre-color Hollywood is fascinating. The aesthetic is fascinating, and I love when anybody, shoots a throwback and makes that, into their film. Like we saw The Artist, I think is the name of that movie.
Yeah.
That was great. We saw that in the theater. Love a black and white film. So
Same.
This was directed by Jim Jarmusch, and I recall when I watched Ghost Dog, I thoroughly enjoyed Ghost Dog. I enjoyed the style. I just enjoyed the way he puts together a movie.
Yeah.
Because he can take a small story and make it seem larger than what it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, Down by Law. You got Tom Waits. You got John Lurie. You got Roberto Benigni.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a cast of other characters in here. Let me just get it out the way. I think Jim Jarmusch is kind of like Alfred Hitchcock a little bit. I got some Psycho vibes.
Interesting.
So check this out. Before they go to spoilers, of course, before they all end up in the same prison cell, it's the little stories that are introducing the characters. We introduce Jack. I believe he's the pimp character.
Yeah.
Played by John Lurie. We introduce Zach.
John
Lurie, excuse me. I thought he was French.
From the Lounge Lizards. If you've never checked them out, you got to check them out.
Oh, so both of these were musicians?
John Lurie's an awesome saxophonist, and his brother was the piano player in Lounge Lizards. Their music's really cool, kind of like fusion-y jazz, but like very introspective, emotional, kind of scratches a lot of itches. And he's done other movies, like he was in Stranger Than
Fiction?
No.
Oh.
I'm forgetting the name of the other Jim Jarmusch movie that he's in. Stranger Than Paradise, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
Which was like his first kind of breakout. But anyway, get back to how you were feeling about it.
So I feel like it
Tom Waits and Roberto Benigni.
Tom Waits as Zach, Roberto Benigni as Roberto. So initially, the build up to them being set up and going to prison, it felt like Psycho a little bit, because if you remember Psycho, the first like 25 minutes is a completely different story. But this story had something to do with the overall plot. I'm just saying I enjoyed the setup of it.
Sure.
It was subtle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't too big of a deal. These, like I say, small stories. So you
Yeah.
got Jack laying up in bed with
Yeah.
his black, I guess this is his bottom bitch, if we can say so.
Yeah, man.
She's talking all this jive to him and such, and he's just sitting there ignoring her like a real pimp,
Yeah.
which I thoroughly enjoyed. Also, this is a period piece, correct? So this is like more like 50s. It felt 50s to me.
It doesn't really have anything that dates it as
Right.
such, which is really cool. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
I felt it was a period piece. I couldn't nail the period, but I knew it definitely wasn't 80s when it was released.
So, yeah, one, you remember the guy who kind of propositions Jack?
Yes.
So,
That fatso.
yeah, he calls him Fatso. I guess his name in the movie was Git, even though I think he just refers to him as Fatso.
Isn't that go ahead, I think I know you're talking about. His name?
Yeah, his
He got
name
a
is,
weird name.
he has the coolest name, in my opinion.
When I saw it on the credits, I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring this up.
Yeah, that's Rocket's Red Glare.
Rocket's Red Glare.
And I'm sure you've heard of Sid Vicious and Nancy.
Yeah.
So this guy was like a drug dealer to the stars, to like, all the punks in New York back in that day. And
This movie is crazier than I thought.
this guy was actually there in the Chelsea, I think it was the Chelsea where she died, the night that she died, and
Wow.
kind of jokingly said that he did it, and some people think he did, a lot of people think it was just a joke, but yeah.
Wow.
I think he actually knew Basquiat too, because Basquiat was kind of like in that New York downtown scene. But yeah, that's Rocket's
That's crazy. Dude.
coolest name. Did you have a favorite of the three guys?
I love Jack. I
Wow.
love Lurie.
Yeah.
I just thought he embodied that character.
I really like him as an actor. He's
him
got
as-
like a real cool deadpan sort of
Yeah.
like
I feel like he was serious.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
even kind of when you see him in interviews, he kind of keeps that same thing, which I really like.
Demure.
He seems like a real
Dapper.
serious guy.
Yeah.
Even when he says like really funny stuff.
I did feel that. I really enjoyed Tom Waits. I never seen him act before, but when I heard him sing, I was like, I heard this dude's music in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it made sense once I did further research into it.
I haven't listened to too much of his music, even though I feel like, I mean, like some of the musicians he's played with, I'm like huge fans of, and I just kind of always felt like he was sort of kind of doing Beefheart's thing, but like a less weird version. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check him out more, his music at least. But I found it kind of funny that I feel like the only right answer for a favorite character in this is Bob. Like, for me, Bob just ties this movie together. Like, he is so perfect in this. Like the best scenes for me all have him. Like,
I can see that.
like the scene when they find, like, for one,
Ice
he
cream.
makes the escape.
Yes.
The ice cream scene is so awesome.
Yes.
Do you like Walt Whitman?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he's just, everything he says is hilarious. And like,
I'm in love.
that was his first movie
Role.
in America. You know
Correct.
what I mean? He met Jim Jarmusch like at a film festival where they were like,
I had to put you in a movie.
yeah, like they just
Roberto.
became friends. And like the scene where like they escape and like Zach and Jack are just like at the river with the dogs behind them.
Yeah,
And
I
they're
like
just
that
like-
scene.
They're just like, sorry, bud, you know what I mean? And he finally is like saying what you have to assume is like a prayer, making his last amends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's such a touching scene. And then like the other
Okay.
best, maybe even better than that scene, is like the scene where he's dancing with Nicoletta.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's just like such a. You know about that? You know about them?
No.
Bob and Nicoletta. Oh my gosh.
This is like a real thing.
A real thing. They got married 5 years after the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Which I just freaking love. Like,
That's cute.
it just makes it that much more special.
Okay.
But yeah, I really love him. He actually has directed movies. I think
Roberto Benigni?
We're gonna have to watch his.
All right.
I think the one that's Life is Beautiful.
I have heard of that.
We're gonna have to watch that. And I was kind of watching him, like I was watching an interview with him on Conan, and it's almost like he has the same, like he really doesn't know that much English. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's that guy.
He's that guy. Like, so
Fucking
yeah,
Borat.
I really loved him. He's like, what was the other one? Bob Frost. Do you like Bob Frost?
Yeah. Do you like Bob Frost? I found that
Bob Frost
entertaining.
in Italian. It just has so many good moments in the movie. The other great scene when they're all like up against the bars just talking about how they were framed.
Yes.
And they're like, so Bob, what are you in for?
I killed a man.
Yeah. And he's like,
I killed him. I did.
he's like, you throw the ball at me, I gotta throw it
throw
at
it
you.
at
And yeah, so he has all of the best stuff. Let me see.
I do like when Zach and Jack are released for a recess or whatever, and initially the guards are like, "Not you."
Yeah.
Oh, not you. And he's like, and he pleads his case, and they let him out. That was pretty cool. But when they first put him in the cell, they were like, "This guy's a psychopath."
Yeah.
Homicidal maniac.
Oh, I really like the end. You know, the little handshake, like right there at the crossroads.
I'll give it that.
I thought that was so cool.
I thought them switching jackets was cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I was like, yeah, that's a smart thing to do. I wouldn't even thought of that. They both don't know where they're going.
Yeah. I love that too. He's like, well, she said this way is east, and that way he's like, well,
doesn't
she
matter.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
It doesn't matter.
get the fuck away from me. They kind of remind me of brothers, even though the fact that their names Zach and Jack is like
yeah.
brothers that
I
just,
never
like,
thought about that. Yeah.
can't get along, even though like
They get along.
yeah.
They can't get along, but they get along. I half expected at the end one of them to go with the other somehow. I don't know why. I thought I was like that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I kind of felt like could they have gone the same direction? You know what I mean? Like, is it just that like they've already said like I'm going whichever way he's not going,
Well,
and we got to stick to that. You know what I mean?
Or maybe they couldn't be seen with one another. I mean, they are on the run.
Good point. Good point.
Want me to tell you what I thought about the movie?
I would love to hear what you thought about the movie.
So, I'm going to go a little left field with this one. I didn't like Roberto.
Wow.
I didn't like him. I didn't like when he came into the film. I was digging the film. I was digging Jack and Zach. I loved the setup, how they all got into the system. I loved them both interacting with each other. And then Roberto comes into the picture. And I feel like it had a tone shift. It had a mood shift almost. He was more whimsical. And I give him credit. He brought something that I did not see coming.
I feel like that tone shift was almost essential for me, but it's almost
Well,
like,
to make the movie make sense, I think it did, but I feel like not enough of the movie was that tone. Like, so when I did like the fact that they didn't even show the escape at all. Like I love that because I was like, yeah, that's
nobody
right.
needs to see that.
Who
That kind
cares?
of reminds me of Reservoir Dogs almost.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
think
heist
so?
movie where they don't show the heist.
They don't show the heist.
It's more about like
Mhm.
what happens after. And
I wouldn't say I hated Roberto. Let me rephrase that. At first, I was taken aback. Because I was like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? I seen him before talking to Tom Waits' character that night.
yeah, I kind of forgot about that because this was actually my second time watching it. And the
Mhm.
first time I watched it, I forgot that he talks to Tom when he's just like sitting in front of the, well, it kind of looks like a gas station or whatever. And he has the line, it's a sad and beautiful world.
Right.
Which was kind of like not the line.
Was that ad-libbed or he just misinterpreted
He
the line?
misinterpreted the line, and they kind of just went with it because they thought that was better.
Sounds better.
But yeah,
I will give it this. I was not expecting where the movie went, and I was thoroughly surprised. I was entertained, but I was more entertained by Tom Waits and Jack Lurie. Like I just really
John
love.
Lurie,
I'm so sorry.
their relationship.
Yes, I really love those characters. I was
Sure.
like, these guys are. Something about them is unique,
For sure.
but
I just felt like
Uh,
you can't go on with them just hating each other the whole movie.
No, you
know what
can't do that.
You kind of needed that.
But I felt they
break
had
and
a
the
kinship.
tension.
They had a kinship that was unspoken, or at least a connection that was unspoken.
For sure, but like they had the scene where he's finally like, "Oh, you're a radio DJ, Lee Baby Sims,"
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, do a thing, do it."
Yeah. Tell a joke.
Yeah, he was like,
I did
him on the spot.
like Roberto's performance, and objectively speaking, the movie is brilliant in my opinion. The movie is brilliant because objectively, it's like I said, I was not expecting Roberto to. I didn't know nothing about this movie, so I wasn't expecting them to put this man in the cell and he just turned this thing into something way more whimsical than I thought it would be.
"Yeah,
I love the escape because it, like you said, it was so. It was just
a different way to do it."
a different way to do it. Right? It was reserved.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I love the ending, the ultimate ending. Roberto hooking up with Nicoletta. That was so random to me. That was random.
I love her too. She was great.
I liked her a
Yeah.
lot. I liked her a lot. It was just random to me. I was like, this is random. Oh, I'm not hating on the movie. I actually liked the movie at the end of the day. The thing I liked the most, I love New Orleans as a setting.
Yes, this was according
Love
to
it.
a lot of the stuff I was reading. This was like his first time, and he kind of became known for doing like road movies.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Dog doesn't really count as that, but yeah, like he kind of went to New Orleans, and the cinematographer is the same guy who shot Ghost Dog.
Okay.
But I was watching an interview with him where he was talking about the only direction that Jim gave him for like how to shoot the movie was that he wants it to be like a fairy tale,
Okay.
which I'm like, that's so perfect.
I
And
can
he-
see
and
that.
He was just like, I love that because it's like, it's specific, but it's vague.
Right.
And it's kind of like he's a great collaborator. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
that's kind of, I feel like one of his strong suits. Like,
Hmm.
I listened to a really good interview with him where he kind of talked about coming up and going to film school and how he spent some time in France watching like all
Hmm.
these like foreign movies and early Hollywood movies, and how he ended up like assisting for director Nicholas Ray. We'll have to check out some of his movies. And he talked about like how some of the advice he got, like one of the things he said was like that Nicholas told him was like, when you're directing actors, never discuss what the scene is about with everybody together, because it's
Really?
about a different thing to each different person.
Oh.
So it's like,
that makes
discuss
sense.
it with this person and then this person separately, because their interpretations are going to be different and like what they're supposed to achieve. So yeah, I just thought, and there was another cool thing I listened to that was actually Tom Waits and Jim Jarmusch. I'm not sure what year, but them talking about the making of the movie and just like all their experiences in New Orleans and all that. But yeah,
I also thought with Jim, his style, I noticed in this film, he likes to linger on a shot for a while.
yeah, it's a lot of like cool wide shots that I like, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess what you would call blocking, if I understand it correctly, where like
Okay.
all of the characters will be like in the frame and like they move throughout the frame, even though it's just like one, almost like a play. You know what I mean? Like,
I see what you mean.
and I thought that was really cool.
I thought that was interesting because there was a scene when Jack, the pimp, is walking down the street. He talks to a lady on the blade,
Yeah,
and then he continues on his day, and the camera stays on her, and another pimp
yeah,
walks into the scene, talks to her walks away.
Yeah.
And it just stayed on her for a little bit. And I said, I like that they're giving me more of the setting of this world that he comes from.
They incorporate the geography perfectly. Even like the
Right.
first shot, like that, it's like a little tracking shot, just like
Mm-hmm.
kind of showing the geography of New
Of
Orleans.
New Orleans. I thought it was beautiful.
with the Tom Waits song.
It's funny because I've been there a bunch and
We
it
actually
looks
went
the
there
same.
together.
it looks the same. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It looks the same.
I barely remember it. We went there like in high school.
Gotta go again, bruh.
Yeah, we definitely need
Gotta
to go
get some
again.
drinks, man. But you know what's funny about Jack's character? I cannot praise John Lurie enough. I felt like he was a real pimp. I feel like he was a real pimp from this weird.
You're gonna have to watch a movie called Paris, Texas.
I
It's-
gotta watch it then.
He's in that very shortly, but it's
Mhm.
another like very cool movie, and the director of that, Wim Wenders, actually, I guess he's friends with Jim,
Yeah.
and Robbie Mueller shot Paris, Texas, as well as cinematographer for this.
Okay.
And I feel like I think there's even more where it's like Jim has been like assistant director or like helped out on some of his
Some
other
of his
movies.
stuff. Collaborators.
So some deeper territories to mine there.
What would you think about Zach taking the money up front and still doing his job? Man, I would have ran off. It was shifty from the beginning.
Yeah, like one thing they were talking about in the conversation between the two of them, I don't know the actor who propositions him, but
Mm-hmm.
he was perfect.
He
It's
was
just like this
great,
sleazy,
shifty,
yeah,
shyster.
very swarthy
He
character.
was such a manipulator because I was like, he's gonna give him all his money up front.
Yeah.
He was so like, I can't do that. That's
In
crazy.
the interview, he was like, he's Tom Waits and Jim Jarmusch were like, he's very charming, like a snake.
Yes, yes, yes.
But yeah,
I loved him, and I loved, of course, the guy that set up Jack Fatso.
yeah,
I like
Rockets.
that scene. I
Big
loved his bottom bitch's little spiel. Like she was getting in his
Yeah.
ass.
Everything about the movie's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. In hindsight, look, I like the film. Would I watch it again soon? Probably no. I want to get more into Jim Jarmusch. I want to get into his style more because this was a lot
and
different.
I showed you a little bit of Coffee and Cigarettes.
You showed me a little bit of that. It
you've
looks
seen
good.
A couple of the segments.
That looks good. You know, I always love a movie that has like little.
That was actually the first one that I think
Skits.
I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will give this movie a higher score than what you gave Bone Collector.
I
I'm
would
gonna give
feel
this.
like you have to.
You're gonna hate me. I'm gonna give it a 7.9.
I can't hate. I mean,
79 is a good score.
yeah,
Okay, teetering on an 8
yeah,
because this movie is perfectly serviceable. It's very entertaining. It throws you for a loop a bit. It makes you pay attention, and for me, it brings up style. Like I like
Yeah.
the style of
yeah.
it.
Same.
The style is what's important to me.
I was gonna say another kind of interesting thing is that
Felt like a play, by the way.
Jim, he sort of started as like a writer slash poet, and I feel like his movies do kind of have like a poetic type of thing.
Yes,
Um,
especially Ghost Dog.
yeah, I can kind of assume your answer, but I'll ask anyway. Which do you think is better, Ghost Dog or Down by Law?
I want to give it to Down by Law, but
Hmm.
I really like Ghost Dog.
Yeah,
Ghost Dog was such a surprise.
Yeah, they're both so good.
They're both good.
Yeah,
I like Ghost Dog slightly more because it was it's a bold take. You know, it's an American samurai film
Yeah.
that's modern,
yeah,
but that doesn't take anything away from this film.
sure.
And I look, like I said, black and white, love it. The movie looked like it came out a few years ago.
Yeah,
Because when you do black and white, and
it's
you know
timeless.
it's
really.
timeless. You can
Yeah.
remaster it in 4K, and it looks amazing. I liked the story for the most part. Like I said, so just some things threw me for a loop. That's it.
For sure.
It threw me off. Like, oh, it's not this type of movie anymore.
Yeah,
Okay, and I liked all three of them together. I love the ice cream you scream
Yeah.
scene. That was crazy to me. That was like they started a prison riot with this.
Yeah.
40s were weird. I love like I said, the escape scene. I love Jim Jarmusch's style because he forces you to watch things that might be mundane to some people. Like I said, he lingers on scenes a little bit. But anyway, I recommend it. I give it a 8.0. Watch
You'd have
it.
to go up, but I appreciate the 0.1 on my recommendation.
I had to round up on that thing. So what's up? How you feel?
I feel like we just spent 35-ish minutes talking about movies,
Okay.
and
It's good.
we're gonna come back.
We'll be back next week. I don't know
With
what
another
I wanna recommend
movie.
you.
I don't know. I was kind of thinking we might both watch the same movie, because I actually felt really good this time. I was able to watch, like, the first episode 1. This is episode 2.
Yeah, that's right.
I recommended you 2, and you recommended me 2, and I wasn't able to rewatch the ones I recommended you. This time I was able to watch both, and I feel like a little bit better, like a little fresher, because there was a lot of stuff about Chinese Bookie and Hardcore that I felt like I could have said after.
Right.
But
Great films.
yes, that was
Fantastic.
episode 1. This is episode 2.
2.
But yeah, so we'll either watch the same thing. We might. I don't know. We
We'll see.
might do something different.
Yeah, we're gonna
We
shake
might
it
do
up.
something different.
Shake the bag.
Yeah.
I'm
We
down
might
with
both watch like a kind of recent movie. There's a lot of recent movies that I want to see that I have not seen.
it. Shall you say we're going to the movies?
We just might.
All right. Well, thoroughly enjoyed this episode, sir.
Me too.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on.
This on my screen.